What happens when a Hollywood legend walks into a morning show and walks out in fury? That's exactly what happened when Sylvester Stallone sat down with George Stephanopoulos on Good Morning America. What was supposed to be a light interview turned into a fiery showdown, so intense that security had to intervene. Stallone arrived early, dressed like the icon he is. The plan? Promote his latest movie. But George had other ideas. He dug into old interviews, ready to challenge Stallone on his political opinions, not his film. "Before we get to your movie," George said, "you've made political statements over the years. Should celebrities really influence politics?" Stallone, calm but firm, responded, "This is America. We all have a right to speak. Actors, journalists, even former political operatives." The dig was clear, and George pressed on. Don't you think fame comes with responsibility? You mean being careful about loving my country?" Stallone replied, "I've never pretended to be anything I'm not." The interview grew tense. Then George quoted Spider-Man, "With great power comes great responsibility." "Did you just quote Spider-Man at me?" Stallone said, stunned. "I came here to talk about my movie, not to be lectured by someone who spent years spinning stories for politicians." George pushed again. Stallone's voice rose. "I've earned my voice over 7 decades. What gives you the right to tell me how to use it?" As the tension peaked, George jabbed, "You're just a guy who punches people on screen." Stallone fired back, "When I punch, people know it's fiction. When you spun stories in Washington, they thought it was the truth." "Who fooled more people, George?" George stumbled, trying to regain footing. "This isn't personal. I'm asking questions our viewers care about." "From who? Twitter? Bloggers? People who've never built anything?" Stallone's tone darkened. "You ambushed me. You broke trust. You lied about this interview." George snapped, "At least my political work mattered. Your movies? Just mindless violence." Stallone, voice low but powerful. "Rocky was about hope, about dignity, about proving yourself when the world counts you out. That mattered to millions. What has your work inspired? Better lies?" Trying to hold on, George scoffed. "You make fantasy movies. You think the pain in Rocky was fantasy? The vets who saw themselves in Rambo, that was real." Stallone stood up. "This stopped being an interview 20 minutes ago." "I'm done!" George panicked. "Sit down, we're not finished." He grabbed Stallone's arm, a huge mistake. "Take your hand off me," Stallone said coldly. "Now." George didn't, so Stallone shrugged him off effortlessly. George fell back into his chair. "Security," Stallone said. "I need an escort." "This interview is over." Producers rushed in. Security stepped forward. George shouted from his seat, "This proves my point. You can't handle tough questions." Stallone stopped. "Coward? You know what takes courage? Creating something that gives people hope. You sit in a chair and attack guests from safety. And now you're calling me a coward?" He turned to the camera. "You started a fight you couldn't finish." Stallone removed his mic, dropped it gently on the table, and walked off the set, leaving George alone, stunned and humiliated in front of a national audience. The cameras rolled in silence. What was supposed to be a routine promo became one of the most dramatic interview meltdowns in live television history.